my partner is quite unenthusiastic about even a top operation.
Right.
In terms of, I mean, we were breastfeeding activists in the earlier days, and the thought is that Alex at the moment very strongly doesn't want any children, and sometimes when people are their age and don't want children, it turns out that they really don't want children. And sometimes it turns out that they do want children.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for a grown-up to feel that a child can make a good prediction. So I guess from the perspective of thinking that they may well want children later on, and then it would be good to be able to breastfeed them. It would be good to still have breasts. I guess that's the thinking behind my partner's lack of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So because we weren't enthusiastic about it, we didn't really chase up. We let Alex make the speed,
set the pace.
Set the pace, yeah. And knowing quite well that they're not very good at that.
So did you go with them to the appointment at the GP, or no?
I think one of us went to the appointment.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm not sure whether we were in the appointment with them, because once again, they're sort of the age when, the patient confidentiality arises. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there.
And you're not sort of too sure what the GP's kind of reaction was, or where this misunderstanding came from between Alex and the GP about the referral.
Yeah, that's right. I know I'm a terrible person for this. I'll state what I'll sort of make my needs known in a way that seems clear to me, but isn't actually clear to other people. not assertive enough, basically. And I think Alex is probably something of the same mold. So they may well have said something like, I'm interested in this, but not actually said, please make a referral for me. So we're sort of at least 18 months or so down the line. And now, wanting to make that very clear and specific. But I think there's quite a long waiting list for adults, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, yeah. So how long ago was this appointment, do you recall?
At a guess, I would say 18 months ago.
Wow, so a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. And so do you know whether Alex has any other kind of desires in terms of testosterone or anything like that, or is it just mainly top surgery?
I think, as far as I know, it's mainly top surgery. They were interested in T at one stage, but then decided not to bother.
Okay. And would you have sort of concerns around the T? More so than the top surgery, or?
Not really. Maybe slightly more, but, having had my head bent out of shape once, it's sort of, I'm in that that area now. So I think going for the, suddenly deciding to go for full surgery would probably be a bit of a leap, but T is not a problem. I mean our whole, but I have great difficulties with gender. Gender is totally made up. Biological sex obviously is not made up, but gender is totally bullshit. And I suspect that, if non-binary had been an available category when I was young, I might have been tempted.
Do you think so?
Well, yeah. I was brought up to believe that unless you looked like an All Black, you weren't a real man. So I had a bit of body dysmorphia during my teenage years.
As in, you felt sort of insecure about that your body wasn't masculine enough, you mean?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Okay. So just going back to so when you said I've had my head bent out of shape once before, do you mean when sort of just coming to terms with Alex being non-binary? Is that what you're referring to?
Say that again?
So you said, I've had my head bent out of shape once before.
Oh, yeah.
So you mean you've already sort of come to terms with the fact that Alex is non-binary? Is that what you meant? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it that's this big leap between kind of top surgery and testosterone to the bottom surgery? What you seem to have a particular kind of fear of that, or not fear, but concern around that.
Yeah. Well, it's a much, much bigger operation. Mastectomies, they're an operation all right, but from a guess, mastectomy with a bit of rebuild is probably, a couple of hours of surgery, whereas, a full bottom surgery is probably, a couple of sessions of hours each, at a guess. I haven't looked into it in the slightest, but I'm just under the impression that it is a huge thing. So just, the practicalities and the intrusiveness of it.
Sure.
As much as anything else.
Okay. And is there anything else on the kind of health side that you think is relevant to mention that you haven't discussed?
Yeah. Menstruation would be one item of interest. I can imagine wanting to be rid of that.
Yeah. Is that something that you've just sort of thought about off the top of your head, or is this a discussion you've had with Alex?
Well, I think it's probably a bit of both, actually.
Yeah.
And just a reflection that there's often sort of menstrual PMT as something to bear in mind.
Yeah. So you mean if there was some kind of health provision that made that a bit easier or a bit quicker, you mean, to kind of...
Well, I guess all I'm saying is that, even if one kept the main physical apparatus in place, I can imagine that, some non-binary